I returned to the city with my employee and became engrossed in medical work. However, Drake's enigmatic personality never left my mind. During those days, a Nawab from a state visited me. The Nawab mentioned that he had kept 40 maidservants in his palace, but no longer considered himself capable of being with a woman. When I asked if he had any children, the Nawab replied despondently that he had been told long ago that he would never have offspring. I reassured the Nawab, telling him there was no need for despair. I gave him the medicine that Drake had found for me in the jungle and explained how to use it as Drake had instructed. The Nawab left happily. A week later, a man arrived at my clinic with some thugs. He introduced himself as the Nawab's brother and threatened me to stop treating the Nawab. The Nawab's brother did not want him to have children. During our conversation, he admitted that he had given the Nawab medicine from a yogi that had rendered him incapable of fathering children. He threatened to kill me if I continued the treatment. I ignored his threat, and he left angrily with his men. A few days later, a man came to me saying his wife had an incurable disease and wanted me to accompany him to another village for treatment. I agreed and left with him in his car. When we arrived at the house, I saw the same man who had threatened me. They imprisoned me in the house. I was very worried and sat alone at night, contemplating how to escape. Suddenly, I felt as though someone else was present in the room with me. To my surprise, Drake was standing nearby. I stood up excitedly and asked how he had entered, given the guards outside. Drake smiled mysteriously and said that going anywhere was not a problem for him. He told me not to worry and that he would get me out first. I was amazed at how Drake planned to get me out past the tight security. Astonishingly, Drake grabbed my hand and led me out of the door. We passed through the outer gate without alerting the guards. Drake placed me in a car and told me to wait for 2 minutes. He returned with the man who had tricked me into captivity. It seemed the man was not in his right mind, clearly under Drake's control. This man drove us to my house and then left with the car. This was Drake's first visit to my home. I thanked Drake, saying he had saved my life. Drake smiled and reassured me, saying I was a good person and that he would always come to my aid whenever I faced any trouble.